That's great. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking about music and games. Yeah. I'm Sean Varah. I'm the founder of Audioscape. I, like you, have a classical music background. I was a classical composer and musician and studied a lot of electronic music as well. And I have been working in the world of software and machine learning and AI for about 15 years. And I started a video software company and sold that a few years ago. And since then, I've been working in music AI, which is kind of a broad term to describe computers that make up music on the fly. And it was doing that work that I got this idea about music for video games and started Audioscape. And we are here to help game developers make awesome music for their games because it's an expensive and difficult process for them, and we'd like to make it a lot easier. Totally. That's right. Yeah, we've got some examples prepared if you want to play those. Great. Okay. So the first example is a game that probably everyone from the Roblox world knows. And what you're going to see is the game with its original music, and then we made some changes. And let's see how that looks. Oh, I jumped to the punchline. Here it is. Yeah, so that's a little sampling of putting kind of the wrong music to a game, and I've got some others, but I'm it'll be interesting to see people's feedback on what that experience was. Actually, while we're waiting for that feedback, I know there's a big delay with the stream. Would you like me to play another example? Yeah, great. Let's try this other one if I can find it. Yeah, for sure. And let's hear that in the chat. Here's another example. Let's change that. So it's another, yeah, it's adopt me on a really, really bad day. Yeah, I think yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's so many different ways that you can play with music as a background to set up. You know, you can have it support the gameplay, or it can be like ironic, like what you're suggesting. You There's just all kinds of ways that you can play kind of emotional or setting kind of games with different kinds of music. And yeah, and it's something that people have been doing in games and in film for 80 years. Yeah, and it's something we've been thinking a lot about with Roblox in particular. And why don't I just put up? I've got a couple slides that describe what we're thinking about, or what I was thinking about when I started Audioscape. And let me know if this comes through all right. Um, so if you're a Roblox developer, um, Roblox, the platform, has these great tools. If you're a developer, you know how to write code. And for visual creators, if you want to do anything to make a awesome 3D environment, Roblox has you covered. There's all kinds of great tools for that. But I really don't feel that there are great tools for music. And I think if you're a developer and you're 75% through creating a great game, and you're thinking, okay, this is the time to add music. When you go to add music, you realize that you don't have a lot of choices. You can use the Roblox stock audio, which is fine. There's a lot of great stock audio in the Roblox library from Monster Cat and from APN. It's divided, I would say, into three categories. There's sound effects, there's kind of pop music, like music you'd listen to in a boombox. And then the third category I would call like functional game music, which is music that's really designed to play for a long time and set a vibe for your game. And you run out of choices, and it's that stock music doesn't change that much. You can try to upload music that you find online that's been listed as Creative Commons, and we can talk about copyright a little bit later. The copyright system on Roblox can be hard to understand. Some people wonder why some of their music gets blocked when other music doesn't. You can go and hire a composer like yourself, Melodia. I mean, that's a great way to go. You can have someone create absolutely brand new, unheard music for your game, and that's I love that idea. As a composer myself, I totally support that. You can also go to various sites and purchase third-party music. People might be familiar with that from the original OOF sound, which you can't get on Roblox anymore. You can go and purchase a license for it to use it again on Roblox and pay for it. And then there are a number of companies. Audioscape is only one that offers generative music tools. There are a number out there. And again, some of them are really good, and they might work well. You need to be careful about licensing. Some of them require you to pay a more expensive license to get the license or permission to use it within a game. Others don't allow the music to be used in a game, and others do. And then their last option, this is what a lot of folks have run into problems with, is they've grabbed music that they have from kind of any source and put it into their game, and they run into the copyright filter on Roblox. So all those things are put up roadblocks for you getting music for your game. And then last, even once you get the music into the game, integrating it into your game is also not easy. So programming your music so that it reacts musically to your game. Like when you change rooms, the music might want to change style, or you might want to change the music based on event that's happening in your music. All of that isn't very easy. So our vision is really like Roblox games really deserve to have awesome music and sound effects, and there's no technical reason why that shouldn't be. And so that's what we've started to build here. And so the first, we started with the copyright problem. We've built a generative music system that doesn't have a copyright liability. You can download music from Audioscape and upload it to Roblox, and it won't get blocked. We've designed the game engine specifically for game music. Game music, or what I call functional music, is different from pop music because it's meant to support the game experience. It's not like a Taylor Swift song or something that you want to listen to on the radio and hum along to. Functional music sets like a mood, and it has a purpose to serve the game, not the other way around. It's got to be continuous because you don't know how long a particular part of your game is going to last. It's got to be able to loop or crossfade. It might have layering so that you can increase intensity and pull it back depending on the intensity in your game. And it needs to have game-driven music events. And another thing we focused on with Audioscape is really trying to match the music that Audioscape creates with the genres of game that people are making on Roblox. And we played a Doors example a few moments ago. Horror was a genre of music that we didn't see a lot out there in what other companies were offering. And so we built a couple different horror game music engines. And then chiptune is also another genre that we didn't see represented very well. So we created a chiptune engine, and we can get into that in the demo. And then last, it needed to be simple for people who weren't musicians and deliver high quality output. So again, we've automated a lot of the difficult things like song structure and music theory, kind of what notes go with other notes, harmony, melody, and phrasing. And then the sound design part too, making the music sound good. It's got to sound like music you hear on the radio. And then last, we're also building tools to make it easier to integrate the music into your game. So we've got sample code that I'll make sure that you've got a link to. It's on our initial post to the creator resources forum on the dev forum. And again, I'll make it available to you as well. And we'll also show some games that we can share some code from. And yeah, that's a little bit. That was a lot. So I'll stop there and see questions. Okay, cool. I got a note in the chat. Did you see that? Yeah. Are folks hearing Melodia? Oh, you're right. I'm not hearing you on the live stream for some reason.
Okay, so you should be able to hear me now.
Okay.
I just turned on the. Maybe it's because I had my microphone on OBS but turned off. But I don't see how that'll be a problem.
Okay. Let's see. You should be coming on live in a bit here.
Okay, so.
Yep, I'm hearing you on the live stream now.
Okay, that's strange.
No worries.
So, welcome to today's event. So anyway, with all the news of AI and everything, I know in the world of graphic design, everybody's like, oh no, AI is going to replace us all. Nobody's going to want to pay anybody to make art when we could just go to an AI and have it make it something for us. Do you think that there is that fair in music? And also, do you think that there is anything to be afraid of?
Yeah, well, great question. Yeah, it's a big one. I think I'm a composer and musician myself. I guess the short answer is no. I'm not worried. I think everything, and I'm to speak just about music AI right now. And the current state of the art of music AI systems, and people may have played around with some of these. There's something called Music Gen from Facebook. Google has something called Music LM. And then there's another product from Stability.ai called Stable Audio. And these are all really interesting systems. And the way they work is, well, generally how they work, not specifically, you give them a bunch of music to listen to. The deep learning engine studies them and the metadata that they've been given. They might be given word, keywords and stuff like that. And then they kind of figure out how music goes or how it's put together. And then they do it, what's called direct audio. They will literally create a wave file from whatever it is. And it's based on all of the music that they've been trained on. And I think just going to the first part, which is like, should humans be worried about? Well, probably not, because they're not creative in the way that people are creative. They're pattern kind of matching and pattern creation tools. So they can take everything that they've been given and kind of make something up that's like what they've been given. But so far, they haven't proven to be particularly inventive. It's not, they don't have the kind of imagination of a composer. And I really think, I believe very strongly that the human imagination is way more powerful than an AI. And also in the end, I think, composing music is about people connecting with other people. If it's going to be music that I listen to, like classical music or jazz or anything that I sit down and don't do anything else but listen to music for, I'm personally interested in listening to music made by a person. I care what a person thinks. I don't really care what a computer thinks specifically. On the other hand, the automation that AI enables can be really, really useful. And, for example, like this very thing that we're looking to solve, which is if you're a game developer and you go and you hire, there are some amazing game composers out there, like, Mick Gordon, the guy who did the music for Doom, for example, is just absolutely extraordinary. And I recommend everybody go look up Doom music and listen to his presentation at GDC a couple years, or either it was GDC or the Game Audio Conference. I forget which one it is. He has this amazing presentation about how he created the music for Doom, which is just unbelievable and badass. And he's such a talented composer. And there's no way a computer would have thought of the crazy stuff that he did to make that sound. But, most game developers don't have, I don't know, a couple $100,000 to hire someone like that to make music for the game. Even if you're a AA game maker or an indie game maker and you want to hire a music studio, a reputable one, to compose music, you're talking about rates that are about $1,000 a minute for music. And that's just prohibitively expensive. So I think that AI and AI music can really help people who are creating music, create music affordably and to make a better game. Now, and also that doesn't mean that AI music and human composed music can't interact and be part of the same game. There's so much audio that is required for a game that there's plenty of work out there for everyone. So I think that what we're trying to do is really help the individual game developer get awesome music. And, maybe the more successful they are, the more they're going to be able to bring humans in and get that absolutely custom, bespoke music for their game to make it like absolutely amazing.
And I just want to go briefly back to what you mentioned when you said that AI basically takes like a bunch of existing works, analyzes them, see how they're made, and then tries to like create its own type of thing off of that.
Yep.
Do you think that there's like a problem with taking people's works to analyze it if you aren't given permission to take their works?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that's being disputed and prosecuted in the courts right now. So under copyright law, U.S. copyright law is a little bit different than laws in other countries, but they're somewhat similar. There is, so the two sides of it are the people who make the AI music systems like Stability AI are trying to argue that the use of pre-recorded music is fair use. because they might make an argument that, oh, if you want to be a rock and roll drummer, you have to listen to lots of rock and roll music to really learn how to play drums that way. And they're saying that that's fair use. Like, there's nothing, you don't have to go back and pay another license. You can listen to Spotify all day long and learn how to play the drums. And that's this fair use argument. I think the people who have recorded the music, the record labels or the artists themselves who are fighting stability are like, no. Like, you can't just take our music, which, to train an AI engine means you have to take a downloaded copy of the music and put it into your training set. There's no other way of doing your training without actually making a mechanical copy of the music. And they're saying, you can't do that without a license. That is infringement. And there are other artists, particularly visual ones, and people who've written books who've actually said, look, these AI engines have actually come out with my text, or a painter has said, that's my signature it put onto an image. And they're pointing at examples where, like, it's direct copying. So all of that is going to be litigated over the next, say, 5 years or so. And people are coming out on different sides of it. Stability.ai, this is kind of an interesting one, with their stable audio engine, they actually went to a record label and they licensed the music to do the training. So they took a legitimate license and they created an engine to make that. And I think you're going to see record labels do more deals like that. You might even see individual artists go and take their whole catalog of music and put it into an AI so it can go and make more versions of themselves. So I think you'll see kind of all sides of that coming forward, but it hasn't been figured out yet, and I think it'll take a few years to do that.
Yeah, and then speaking more about the copyright, though, last time we talked, I found it interesting when you mentioned the sample-based and the note-based. How if there's some human element to it, then you could copyright it.
Oh, yeah. These are kind of two sides of copyright. So there's like the copyright law that says you are allowed to use this work either in your game or in a training set, right? And then there's the initial part, which is, are you allowed to say, I made this, I have the copyright to it? And so, yeah, US copyright law says that to copyright something, you have to be a human being. And so there was a famous case of, I think it was a primate, I think either a gorilla or an orangutan had been taught to paint. And they made these amazing paintings. And I think they posted them to the internet or something like that. And they tried to copyright them. And the court said, no, this was made by a gorilla or an orangutan. It's not able to be copyrighted. So under that definition of copyright, then something like a music gen or a music LM, one of these direct audio music AI systems, that output probably could not be copyrighted because it was constructed entirely by a computer. There are a couple other ways of doing what people describe as AI music, but I'd rather call it generative music. Like, when I say generative music, it means somebody sets up a system, like kind of a music engine, where you hit a button and it goes and makes music without a human touching anything. And that generative engine can be an AI, like it can be based on machine learning, like stable audio and music LM and music gen are, or that generative system can be entirely constructed by a person. And we've had generative music for a really long time. Let's see. I mean, probably one of the most famous early people to do it is a person named Brian Eno. And Brian Eno had these neat pieces. He has one called Music for Airports, which I think is like 6 tape decks set up with loops that play different piano notes. And when you play them all with these different loops, it creates a continually changing kind of musical piece that never is the same because all the tape loops are different.
John Cage would be proud.
Yeah, and I think John Cage had a bunch of kind of aleatoric music compositions. Steve Reich is another one who did a lot of that kind of music. So generative music goes back that far. But for today, there are companies that generate music where something makes up notes. So they call that symbolic or MIDI based. And there are companies like Ava, I think, has a system that does that, where it's basically, and actually 4 years ago, Google released something called Magenta, which was a note-based AI composition model. And so somebody turned that into like an Ableton. Everyone knows the digital audio workstation called Ableton. There's a plugin for Magenta. You plug it in, and it's like a MIDI note generating engine. So there's note generation, and then there's sample based. There's a company called Moobert that has a sample based system where it using sample loops of, say, a drum beat, bass, pads, and a keyboard part, it will create music by combining these things and mixing them together. And in this case, all of those samples were created by a person. So probably that music comes out of Moobert is probably copyrightable in a way because it was created originally by humans. The Ava note-based stuff, I'm not quite sure. I think it depends on a few things. I mean, certainly, if you've ever looked at Ava, it very much looks like a digital audio workstation, and it's my sense that it's made to be changed and configured. And so, if you download the output from Ava and change it in any way by hand, you can then copyright that because a human hand has touched it.
So after differentiating between like all those systems, what is Audioscape?
So Audioscape is a mixture of, we use some samples, we use a lot of note-based composition. We don't do any direct audio. And one of the reasons for not using any direct audio is because of this copyright issue. We may or certainly plan to use some of the direct audio stuff. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can use with machine learning to take a library of sounds you've already made and then generate other sounds like them. And there are other really cool things that do something called style transfer, where you can give it, a recording of a piano playing a melody and turn that into a trumpet or a saxophone. That's another really cool thing that we want to add as well. But for now, we don't use any of that. In fact, we could talk about how we generate music maybe in the demo when we're showing the tool.
Yeah, sure thing.
We can talk about how that stuff gets put together. Yeah.
So for the most part, I do remember you mentioning this. Whatever people make on Audioscape, they could actually copyright it.
Yeah. They get a license to use it. Right now, the way the terms of service are written on Audioscape is Audioscape copyrights it, and then we give you a license to use it in your game. You can also use it in any live streaming of your game. So you can post video of your gameplay to YouTube or Twitch or any other streaming platform. So it's configured for you to use it in your game and get that license. I mean, we may in the future, let people copyright stuff themselves, but for now, we're retaining the copyright.
So yeah, basically it gives like the developer a little comfort to be able to use that and not worry too much about like Roblox taking it down.
No. Yeah, that should not happen. And the other thing is that what you create on Audioscape, and we'll show you an example. We'll make some music, but that track really becomes yours. Audioscape's engine will make up new melodies and new harmonies, every time you click the button. And what's kind of unique about Audioscape is you can save that song into your library and then take that song back in and edit again and again and create variations of it. And so we very much hope that developers get to make their specific music, like a theme and a vibe that's just for them. And then, come back and make variations of it. So if you come back and release the first version of your game, you can use the, first set of stuff you do with Audioscape. But then if you make another level or expand your game, you can come back and make music that uses the same melody and theme and kind of branding, but with a different style. So yeah, we very much want it to be a creative tool for developers, because I think even if you're not trained in music, every developer I talk to has a really strong idea of what the vibe of the music should be for their game. Like they might not know quite how to describe the music, but they can say, I want music that sounds like, this game. I want it to sound like Halo, or I want it to sound like, Mario Brothers, whatever it is. So we want to give them that ability to really kind of browse music, create it, and save it as their own.
And it definitely helps with being able to like upload the music, because I know we've mentioned this a few times where like many developers, even if it's their like own music, they have problems with uploading it to Roblox, and Roblox isn't really specific on why it was blocked.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. And there's some good stuff on the Roblox developer forum. People are very, I've been really impressed at developers' ability to like read the law and understand all this stuff. But I'll distill it down. Basically, there's two totally separate things. There's copyright law, and then there's the content ID system that Roblox uses. And I think, Melodia, I think you ran into this yourself, right? I think you had one of your tracks blocked, right?
Yes, I did.
So I don't think it, I think I remember your case, and I couldn't explain why it got blocked, but I could tell you kind of how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I mean, you did kind of come up with how it was blocked, with how like the waveforms detects if it's like similar to something in their database.
Yeah, so the way that the content ID system works on Roblox is there is this pre-existing library of content, copyrighted content. It's basically like music the content ID system has seen before. And the way that system works is every second in music of your music or your music track, it does an analysis of the frequencies present. It does something called a fast Fourier transform, and it identifies like, oh, at this second of music, there is musical content at 60 hertz, 120 hertz, 5,000 hertz, and 7,500 hertz. And it says that, and then it does that every second. And the combination of those slices of time form these kind of patterns, which become like a fingerprint for the audio. And if that fingerprint of, I don't know the length of time the system identifies, but if that any section of the music you've uploaded matches any section from anything in the database, it says there's a match. And then the second thing is that Roblox can decide what happens at that point. It can say automatically block it, anything that matches, or do something else. I think Roblox's default is just block anything that matches, because you remember a couple of years ago they got sued by the record labels. It was like a $200 million lawsuit, and since then they've had to be very strict. But unfortunately, the content ID system that says this music has been uploaded matches something doesn't actually understand the copyright law, because as people have discovered, and as you did, you can put something original up there that gets blocked, or you can put up music that is what's called Creative Commons 0, which is music that people have put out there that you can use anywhere as long as you have attribution. You credit the composer, and that stuff gets blocked. And some of the reasons for that are someone before you might have taken that track, that Creative Commons track, and uploaded it somewhere like Spotify or YouTube, and it got entered into the content database. And then anyone who's next gets blocked. And so that's really frustrating and absolutely not your fault. Now, and in your case, I mean, you did all of your stuff from scratch, so I have really no idea how it worked. It might just, you got unlucky in that you might have played exactly the same note in a string sound that was just like the string sound on that same note raw in another piece. Then that's why I got blocked. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious. I mean, we could put it out to people on the chat if this has happened to them. But there are a number of cases on the Roblox dev forums where people have been really frustrated by that.
It definitely does back up the idea where it looks in the database for like same frequencies, because the way I bypassed it was just changing the tuning by like 10 hertz or so. All good.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that might work for now, but these systems get better and better. Like the one on Google's music matching. If people, I'm not a Android user, but the Hello Google algorithm is really really good at matching, and it doesn't care if it's been transposed. It can find a lot of different things. So I think you'll find, especially as Roblox and all these other platforms like Fortnite and even Minecraft, any system that lets you upload content, they're going to get more and more sensitive to matching content, because there are many sides to this, but the record labels themselves have found that this is a growing source of revenue for them, finding people who've pirated their stuff and going after them. And this is what they did to YouTube and Facebook. Back in 2012, they sued Google, and now Google pays the record labels a ton of money every year for licenses that basically let you and I upload anything we want to YouTube. So I can upload a copyrighted track of music to YouTube, and what YouTube will do is it'll do something different than a Roblox content ID. It'll say, oh, you've uploaded, Controversy by Prince. This matches our library. And instead, what they say is, great, you don't earn any money from this video. We're giving all the money for your video to Prince's estate. And you may see, other companies do something similar like that.
Yeah, I think if Roblox did that, like incorporated that in some way, that might be very beneficial for like both the creator and the artist.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think it would be great. I mean, one of the things that's really strange on the Roblox system is you can buy avatars and virtual items, but you can't buy any music. There's no music or sounds on the marketplace. And yeah, I think that's something that we'll see them implement at some point. And I'd love that. Like, it would be really cool with Audioscape if users could like go and create music tracks on Audioscape and make them for other developers. Like, maybe you're someone who just likes music and likes playing around with the Audioscape tool and making cool tracks. Well, it's not in this version, but in one that's coming out, we're going to let you share the tracks. And so some other developer might see your track and be like, hey, can I use that in my game? And, maybe it'll be like a virtual item where you can share that with them. The developer can use your music in the game, and maybe you get credit, or maybe you get Robux as part of that.
Yeah, that would, I definitely am for the idea of at least bringing back public audios. But I mean, I'm also all for with being able to monetize audios as well. Because you have like, they're really pushing like the virtual clothing and everything. But music is...
Yeah, no, it's super interesting that way. I don't see, it makes perfect sense to me why people should share. And there's really great people out there, on the developer forum. I'm pretty active, responding to people, and I'm really impressed with the music that people are creating. People also do great stuff with sound effects. And they go out and record ambience, and people are doing a lot of hard work, and I think they're frustrated right now not having a way to kind of share that and collaborate with other people with audio.
Yeah, it is definitely frustrating, because then you have to go to like YouTube, upload it, and then try to incorporate it to Roblox somehow.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like just trying to get your music out there. Because usually when you want to get like a product out, on Roblox at least, you would have it in a game. Like, if you can't have it in like mass amount of people using your audio,
right,
then like what's plan B?
Yeah, you're saying it's difficult just to showcase it.
Yeah. And I've made a music showcase where I've been showcasing my own music, but then the challenge then is advertising it.
Right. No, I've seen your experience. It's really amazing. I mean, and I think we're recording this, and we can include that link in the comments for the stream. But yeah, you built this like an entire game, and you're saying you did all that work, and then you still have to get people to come and play the game to hear your music.
Yep.
Yeah. No, well, that's, I think that's something we'd be interested in helping to create, is like a forum where people can share music and get it to an audience.
Yeah.
that exact problem you're talking about.
And I think, to my knowledge, there really isn't a major Roblox composer group where there's like active
Yeah.
meetings or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that would be a really fun thing to start up. Just get a hangout there, and yeah, there should be like a Discord like or gilded location where we all get together and comment on music for sure.
And I've already mentioned that idea to you already.
Yeah, totally. No, that would be a really fun thing to do. Yeah, and we will also want to start a conversation about, implementing music in game. Like, I said, we're going to build some tools for that, and we've got sample code. Again, I'll share a link to it and in fact, we've got entire games that I can demo for you where we've taken the Roblox demo games and we've integrated music, and we're going to open source those so people can see the code and see how we've looped things, how we've done crossfades, how we've like assigned music to an area so that when you walk there, the music changes from one thing to another. And there are much more sophisticated ways to integrate audio, and we'd love to also get that conversation going. So it's really like two groups. So like, let's get a group talking about music and like how we can make music great, and then how we can do great integrations into the games.
Sounds like you have a lot of people working behind the scenes at Audioscape.
Yeah, well, and hopefully we'll have more. Yeah, we have some great. We're not a huge company, but we've got some really talented composer and sound designers who work for us, who created all the. They basically created these engines that we'll hopefully hear you play. That might be a good segue to a demo if you feel like trying it out.
Sure. Let's see how this goes.
This is Melodia's first time using Audioscape.
Yeah, let's hope OBS wants to work too. So let's switch screens here.
All right.
Okay. I think that they momentarily lost your audio. But let me get the zoom back up, and then let me throw that behind everything, and then throw that down there. Alright, we'll just let the delay catch up, but I do believe that both of our audio should be picking up.
Yeah.
I think that they momentarily lost your audio. Do you want to check your audio, Sean?
I'll say something here. I'm not hearing I'm still delayed on the live stream, so we'll see.
Yeah. Alright, we'll just let the delay catch up.
This is so funny.
The delay caught up.
Yeah, I can hear myself in the live stream. We should.
Amazing. Okay, so I think we are a go. All right, so when you first log into Audioscape, this is what you will be greeted with. So let's see, we have horror, ambient chill, and then music with a beat. I'm feeling a little chill. Let's see what we could get from this one.
All right, let's see.
That's strange. I cannot hear the audio on my side.
Oh, did you
There we go.
share? Yeah. So I'm going to be behind you here, so I won't be able to hear your music here. Are you hearing it on your side?
Yeah, it's coming though.
Yeah, cool.
Let me let me screen share for you as well, so that you
I like
can
your
hear.
chill track. That's great.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, like birds playing in your chill. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then just make sure that's also going through on gradual.
Okay.
It should be, but this was all AI generated.
Yeah, I mean, what it is that in the non-beat music on Audioscape, all these sounds have been created by people, and there's just like this huge library of sounds that are then kind of mixed and put together based on various rules. Though the composers create like algorithmic music. And so it's like a piece of music that instead of creating one piece of music, it's like they can create something that has like a million different possibilities. So that's what you're hearing there. I really like that. If you like it, I can show you how to save it. Or if you want to say goodbye to it, you can hit regenerate and it'll make something totally different for you.
Yeah, let's say goodbye to this, and
Okay.
let's say.
So now I'm just going to make up something totally different.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
And by the way, if you want to skip through it, you can click on the waveform up there and then jump to other parts of the song. That waveform is actually like fake. That's not really what the
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is
because it's actually making it up it's actually kind of rendering it in your browser as you play it.
Really.
So we don't really know what the music is because it's being rendered in your browser.
So this is just like fake, but what's really going on is like behind the scenes that you can't see.
Right. It's like we're giving your computer all the ingredients, and then your computer's mixing them together.
Yeah. Let's continue with this.
So it's designed. This whole track is about say 3 minutes long, and this is made for a game to basically like you can repeat the whole thing. You can repeat sections of it, and it's made to morph over time. So some sections may be kind of like more intense than others, and you could with crossfading, you could say, oh, I'll loop the first third of it for one part of the game, and then the second third for another, and the last third for another. And then I can show you can edit it, and you can create different versions.
I was just about to see. Let's see what we can do with editing.
So. Well, there you go. I'll let you poke around and you can see what you got there.
So you're able
Those buttons are just for jumping to different parts of the song as you play it.
Ah, I see that. So that's the end. Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens if we make it less intense.
Yeah, and let's see. Less intense will probably just give you a new chill track. Let's see. Yeah. The secret is there are really only 4 engines in the non-beat music, and when you hit less intense, the left goes all the way back to chill, but there's nothing more chill than chill. So you're at the far left here. So if you hit more intense, you'll get to the 3 other engines that are there.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we make it more intense.
If you keep going intense, you had cinematic. We got the first 4.
Oh, there we go. I see we have horror. I see. So
there's one more horror after this because people wanted lots of horror.
So the less intense, more intense scale is less about changing like what you have existing and more about just moving on to a different genre.
Yeah, it's basically switching the entire engine. If you want to edit the song, that's what that advanced edit button is for, and I'll show you that.
Horror Plus.
Yeah. So
coming to a streaming service near you.
This should be grittier. Let's see, is it playing for you? Here we go.
It gives me Adopt Me vibes, you know?
Right? Yeah, it's perfect for Adopt Me.
Yeah, come on. But so if we do more intense, that's pretty much it, right? There's no horror plus plus.
There's only horror plus is as far as you go. Cinematic is kind of cool. It's in the middle and it has more orchestral sounds. But here we go. Let's do some editing.
Yeah, I like this change intensity. Oh.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure what that button does. I'm not sure.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
So here's how it was. I believe that's on. Let's see what that sounded like. No, let's turn that off.
And then you have to hit apply changes to have it work.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
There we go.
Let's see what we got. It is definitely a bit more melodic.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that button. Yeah.
Let's see.
We have a whole roadmap for the reason I didn't know is we have a longer term thing in the next version where the intensity is actually going to be variable. So you're going to get like a slider, so you can have it super scary or not, and you'll be able to implement that in your game.
Perfect. Let's try background now.
Okay, great.
This is like just the same thing.
Yeah, it's one element is changed. Go back and try the changing the foreground for a second. Then you should definitely hear a change. Oh, and then hit
There
apply.
it is. Yeah, so this one sounds a bit more atmospheric, correct?
A bit, but it's funny. You can keep iterating on this, and because right now it's kind of stuck in something. I think let's go to advanced edit again, and click. Click all the buttons and hit a bunch of changes. We can see the other thing you can use, you just go back to the beginning and just hit regenerate, because sometimes again this thing just rolls the dice, and if you don't like what you're getting, just like keep hitting it.
Yes. Let's say. Yeah, it's almost like trying to think of that composer's name. I can't think of his name.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it sounds like some modern
like,
composer with a lot of...
Not Zimmer. It's not like a Hans Zimmer thing. You know that?
And I was thinking of Hans Zimmer, but more like in the terms of atmospheric.
Yeah. That for me, those are like distorted horns. Here, try another thing. Go hit the start over button. There we go. And then just go back and go and choose horror on the left again one more time. And that way it'll just like completely re-roll the dice.
Yes. So I know with most AIs, the downfall is that it's like, oh, I really like this part here. So let me just change some setting.
Right.
And then most likely, it's gonna get rid of that one part that you liked.
One part you liked, yeah.
Did it not get rid of it?
I think it did. Yeah. That's good feedback. It's hard to, like, if you go back to the advanced edit button, we have this thing we call foreground and background, but you're right. Like, how is the person who's listening to the music to know what's foreground and background, right? The other thing is you've got go back to, oh, you know what? It's funny, in Chiptune, in the beat-based engine, hit basic edit for a set. We have an undo. Hit undo. We have one level of undo. Let's see if that gets you back to what you want.
Yeah, let's find out.
Yeah.
Is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so then we don't have like multiple layers of undo. I think you get one chance to go back just one step.
What if you'd hit undo again, though, and there's nothing to undo?
I'm not sure anything's going to happen if you do that, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, again, to be honest, we put Audioscape out to developers as soon as we could, and we wanted to, it's got some, nothing, everything isn't perfect on it, but we really wanted to get it out to people like you early to get feedback. That's why we're doing this whole private beta with Roblox developers, is to really get a bunch of them to use it, and then give us the feedback. And so this is great. I mean, just you using it here is super helpful.
Yeah. So let me see what happens if we change the melody. And then
To be honest, let's see what happens. I'm
let's
super
change the
excited
key
to hear
too while at it.
Totally.
Let's see what happens. Oh. Was that meant to happen?
Did it just fade out? That's so funny. Here we go. There you go. Yeah, you had it.
That was interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's a roll of the. It's like, imagine that you're rolling the dice with like multiple dice, and so sometimes you can roll the same number and you might get the same sounds, but definitely keep rolling because there's you're going to get more. More information.
And definitely one thing that I could get feedback on though is that when you click in like the sound wave, it would be nice if the cursor moved.
It will if you're playing.
So only if it's playing though. Yeah. Like when you have it paused, you can't. No, is that intended?
Is it intended? No, I mean, we could. I think what you're saying is if you click somewhere on the waveform, you expect it to both jump there and probably start playing, right?
Well, maybe not autoplay, but at least show that clicking it is actually doing something if it's paused.
No, we'll totally put that on the list. Yeah, we had other folks on the forum give us some ideas, and I think we've already implemented. So we had a bunch. Somebody found out like we had like it wasn't in stereo, so we fixed that. So yeah, if you've got stuff, it goes on a list, and we try to fix it.
So let's do what was this horror one more time, and then we'll move on.
Great.
Did we just get the same one as we started with?
Good advancement. Let's just see if that works one more time. So only change your foreground.
Yeah, let's do that. It's interesting though when you do get something that sounds very similar. Well, there we go. Interesting though.
That, like it still has that kind of ringing bell sound. And again, so I definitely recommend, it's great for people to give us the feedback, but if you really you're getting frustrated with it, definitely go to start over and like start again from the beginning, and it should roll all of the dice again together.
Mm-hmm. But let's try a different genre. So let's try with a beat.
Okay, this is a totally different engine.
Yes, let's try Chiptune first. All right. Let's see what we got. Also, I find it odd sometimes how it starts like right here. Instead.
It does that on purpose? Well, okay, so that's cool. It's on purpose because every song in Audioscape that has a beat has a very specific song structure. And the beginning, in fact, hit play and then click on the, click back. So for example. So the first sections, I mean, in Chiptune, depending on how the dice are rolled, sometimes you get that really cool, we call it the super ARP, which is that very kind of Mario Brothers kind of sound. And but each section in the beginning, they start sparse. So we've got an intro 1 and an intro 2 section, which don't have all the parts playing at the same time. So the reason that we have it start kind of in the first third of the song is that you hear all the sounds at the same time. So you kind of get a sense of what the groove of the song sounds like without having to wait through the first 32 seconds of the song. That's why we do that.
That makes sense. You should also add in that start, middle, and end button.
Oh, it is. You'll get it if you go to edit. Hit edit.
There you go.
See, in fact, it's like intro, verse, chorus, and breakdown, which are different, which are neat. You could play with that.
Ooh, breakdown. I like how breakdown's right there.
Yeah. This waveform kind of matches what really happens. And it's like a typical EDM breakdown where you've got a breakdown and it actually goes to a drop, which will happen. It's just like the chorus that happens after the breakdown.
I'm liking the settings.
Yeah, there's a lot of buttons here. That's why, in fact, we have that basic edit mode. So if you go to basic edit, just forgive me. If you're overwhelmed by all those buttons, we made this basic edit mode where you just get tool things, change a little, change a lot, and just quickly change a little, kind of mixes up just the instruments for the same song. Mm-hmm. So you get a slightly different selection of instruments. Chiptune is pretty tight in terms of like the sounds it makes.
Yeah.
But if you hit change a lot, it's going to change the entire genre. So it's going to go from chiptune to like synthwave.
Yeah. Or acoustic.
What's fun is that if you're listening to it, it's the same song, but now played with different instruments.
Oh. Yeah. That's interesting.
Which is kind of cool in that, like I was talking about having a theme for your game where you can have like a melody that you save, and then you can make totally different versions, right? You can change the tempo, you can do whatever you want. Oh, this will sound funny, 160, that'll be intense. Right, let's try that out. Let's make it go fast.
Lo-fi.
Lo-fi fast. Ooh, that'll be quite something.
And it's also in Dorian.
Great.
I like how you have Dorian. Are you going to add other modes?
We can. You hit the wrong button. You're going to have to name your song now.
Oh, no.
It's fine. Give it a name. We'll go back. Actually, what's cool is now you saved your song. Now you can actually hit edit and go right back to it.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's going to load your whole song in now.
Yeah.
Now you can edit from here.
Okay, but I do want to get back to
now
that.
You want to go nuts and do your 160 BPM lo-fi.
Yeah, let's do that. 160.
You're gonna make a lot of lo-fi people mad.
So yeah,
that'll be great.
Apply changes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I hit save track, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It can barely keep up.
It doesn't sound bad. I mean, it's funny because you could go and edit and you could take it down, or you could switch that to chiptune. And
I do want to hear that intro though. I want to see what that. If it's an ARP.
There won't be an ARP, I don't think.
I think it's quick enough to where you could say that is an ARP.
No, there are arpeggiators in the lo-fi. Yep.
Yeah. Let's hear that breakdown.
Fastest bass ever.
That's what racers listen to when they have to calm down.
Yeah. Lo-fi. I mean, typically you want your lo-fi to be like 96 or 108.
Let's try really slow now and try it in pentatonic.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
And yeah, we'll continue with lo-fi, but let's change the key and change the melody.
All right, great. And give it some time because it's going to.
Do you know what I'm picking up though? Because I know that you said that everything is sample based. You could definitely hear the samples being like slowed down.
Yeah, the drum part is having to be slowed down here. So that's maybe you're hearing the artifacts.
Yeah.
And that's easy. We can improve if people, don't like that. We can certainly generate different versions of the drum parts to accommodate.
Yeah, but it definitely does give it a unique sound, though. Because if you want to get that sound, there would be much more work involved instead of just opening this up, slow down the tempo, hit apply changes, and then be able to get that.
Oh, for sure. And I'm really enjoying the fact that I would have never made this track myself because I would have said, oh, I can't make lo-fi that's 160 beats per minute, right? But you made something unique with the tool yourself because you thought of clicking on things that I didn't think of clicking on. I think it's really cool.
I'll try more of a moderate tempo in Dorian, and change
Okay.
the key again. So this is probably more of the typical lo-fi tempo.
Let's see.
Oh, I hear that breakdown. I like that
Give it a
bass.
second. You're going to see other things get layered in. You might even hear a little shooting up the drop. Let's see.
What was
Keep
that?
playing. I guess there's some buildup. And the other selections, you'll actually hear like the buildup. The sound effects will change as you get to the different sections.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Synthwave will have that, as will yeah, try making that try to make a Synthwave version of that.
Yeah, let's do yeah, we'll keep it at a normal. Change the key.
All right.
Let's change the bass and change the melody instrument. Let's see what this does. Let's check the chorus. Breakdown.
Yeah, this should have a build-up.
The build-up probably would have already came, right?
What's that?
The
Yeah,
build-up probably would have.
Yeah, not all of the drum beats have the kind of whooshes that go to the section. You'll hear them. In fact, hold on, wait. You can do that. Turn off everything except for new drums, and then you could get a new drum beat to this.
So, just that?
Yeah, do that and hit apply changes.
Let's see what happens. Let's go to that breakdown.
A little bit of a light fill there. It's like a more mellow drum beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that.
I do too.
I think you're making a nice song here.
So let's bump up that tempo now.
Yeah, let's like drink a bunch of caffeine and go for it. Yeah,
Make it minor. And let's just change everything.
sure.
Okay, let's see what happens. I want to hear that breakdown. It's pretty catchy though.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I mean, yeah.
That
There's
drum.
a fun little breakdown there.
Yeah, that's a lot of artifacts though.
But I think the artifacts are actually super funny in this case. Like, I think they only add to like the humor of it. And this would be really neat to do in a game where you could make different versions of exactly the same song at different tempos, and have, as the intensity of your game increases, right, you can have it shift to a faster tempo version of the song.
Yeah, definitely. Let's
Yeah.
check it really slow now. And I think I did pentatonic or
Okay.
minor. Dorian, I forgot.
Ooh.
Let's see that breakdown though. Don't worry, the build-up's happening.
Like a scene in The Sloth in the DMV.
You're a DJ the Sloth.
Right.
Let's say though. I don't know though. Let's do new drums. Let's see if we could get the drums. It would be cool if you could change the intensity of like each individual instrument.
Yeah, and when you say intensity, you mean the volume, or what do you mean?
Like have more going on, less going on.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's funny. People have different definitions of the word intensity, but I like that. Yeah, that's something we thought of, and we can certainly implement that. I think it's an experiment for us, like how to build that into the UI. You know, is it like a single button? Is it like, you know, something with colors? All kinds of ways to do that.
All right, so let's check this one out and then briefly check the other ones out, and then we'll wrap things up.
Okay, great.
Well, I guess new drums meant no drums.
Oh, I think, are they? Oh, yeah, interesting. They should be there. Well, you may have.
In the beginning, though.
They are.
Yeah, in the beginning, but not in the end.
Well, oh, by the way, there are sections of the song that don't have drums, and we did that again purposely because. Oh, well, here's the thing. Can you see the help? I can't see it on my screen, but can you go to the bottom and click on the help button? If you go there and you click on how to use, this is like very towards the bottom, how to use the tracks in your game, music with a beat.
Let's see.
Oh, scroll up. You just one higher. Okay, so that is a crazy chart of the sections of beat music. And so when you were clicking around, you were clicking on outro 1 or outro 2. In some versions of the song, we don't have drums there. And the reason for that is we intend the game developer to not use, I mean, you could use the whole track, just play the whole thing through if you wanted, but we intended people to use sections of the track in different parts of their game. So for example, you might want not to have drums in a particularly calm part of your game where you just have instruments. And then if that changes, you can switch to a different loop. And so what this chart is of the start and end points of all the different sections. So I think you made one at 160. So if you wanted to loop the breakdown section, you'd have to go to you go to breakdown and you're like, oh, I need a loop from 60.126 to 70.126. And that's the section you need to loop in the game to just have the breakdown.
So, why is there a 180 tempo, but I don't have that option?
Because I took it out. I need to update the list. And this is something that people could tell me, like, I thought 110 and 180 was like kind of too much. And we didn't have, if you see in this chart, there's no 108, which I changed it. I put 108 in. Because I think for like lo-fi, the 108 was like kind of like a faster lo-fi, and I thought was better. And nobody was using 180, like nobody. I mean, it's something that people had experimented with it because I guess it's like the fastest thing you can do, so everyone wants to try it.
Yes.
Listen, if people want 180 back, I'll totally put 180 back. Not a
you
problem.
Guys hear that? Okay, but let's briefly go over the other genres.
Yeah, well, I think you've done. You did synthwave. Yeah, hit.
Let's see. We didn't really look too much at acoustic though.
Try acoustic at like 120 and just see what it comes up with. Let's see. And I don't know if it's going to. Oh, you saved the track.
Darn. Oh yeah, because I already named it that. I'm just gonna keep asking.
Yeah. Click the main. Go back to main menu.
Oh.
And let's just have it make. There you go, and have it make up a brand new acoustic song. There you go.
funny thing is, though, when I saw acoustic, I was really thinking acoustic guitar.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, I get that. Yeah, hit edit and change the instruments. I don't think we even have any guitars. We might have one guitar, but it's more. I think you'll get like piano or something like that.
Let's see what happens.
All right.
Yeah, bass.
And then it's like an acoustic bass sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not an acoustic guitar.
No acoustic guitar. Those are really hard to implement and have them sound good.
Yeah, that's true.
You need like a sample loop of a guitar to have it sound good.
Yeah. Let's hear that breakdown.
You love the breakdowns.
That transition. I don't know if it's just me, but like that did not fit at all.
Well, did you click it or let's see?
Yeah, so if we just start at the breakdown. Oh, it's like a bass.
Yeah. Well, like the other songs, it starts with the bass and then it adds in the pads, and it works that way in everyone. But you're right, not all of them. Again, this is like multiple rolling of the dice. So you know, if something doesn't work, just try it again.
Exactly. Let's just do new bass. Let's change it to minor, and let's go to 160.
All right, back to racing for the top again. Yep.
Funny enough, when I heard that, I don't know if you ever heard the Simpsons Hit and Run game soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. Fastest vibraphone.
Let's hear the chorus.
You can really hit those mallets.
Let's check out that breakdown. I like that. The vibes start off like really slow. That's also
Yeah, and then everybody starts going for it. I like it.
How'd they hear that again?
Here, let it play out a bit too, because you're going to get the.
I could play with this like for hours.
Yeah, and I hope you do. I mean, like someone like you who's predominantly a musician, like it would be super cool for you to go and like configure this and save a bunch of tracks and know that soon we're going to roll out the ability to share them. Because I think someone like you could really help, as a composer, help a developer kind of come up with cool ideas for music and share them. And we'll have the ability to like share a track with someone else so they can bring it into their thing, or you just download the MP3 file and give it to them.
Yeah,
and everything right now in the beta, everything is wide open and free. So it doesn't. There's no money involved with this. So yeah, you can create tracks for folks and share them, and they can implement them in the game.
I do have to know though, like I know with another AI software, Strophe, they allow you to like mute or solo individual instruments.
Yeah.
So I know that this is all sample based. I would assume that they're all like on separate channels.
They're not all sample based. There's a lot of stuff that's being synthesized directly in the app here on the fly. So that's why like that vibraphone could move so fast, and you didn't like that. The reason you weren't hearing the artifacts on the other instruments. So there's a lot of stuff that's actually synthesized and then sound processed all live.
So,
but yeah, we actually have the ability in like our admin mode to mute tracks, and that's another idea. That I think the difficulty with that is people who are non-musicians who we showed the UI to weren't familiar with looking at like a UI for a DAW where you have like all of these different tracks laid out. Like that didn't make sense to someone who hadn't worked as a sound designer before. And we're really trying to make this approachable for anyone, you know? So again, we'll try to figure out like what's the best way to present that information.
yeah. I mean, I do think that if you did do that, you could probably implement it somewhere in the advanced edits.
Yeah, you could just have a little list of the tracks or something like that. You could turn something off. Like, you know, in that horror track, that would have been really useful because you had that one kind of blaring horn part that I don't think you liked. We could have just turned that off. Mm-hmm. So that's good. That's good input.
Yeah, but I think we checked out, then we checked out Lofi, Synthwave, Acoustic, Chiptune.
Yeah. I
do want to check the really, really slow tempo.
Okay.
And then I think we'll wrap things up.
Okay. I mean, yeah, if you want, I could play an example of this in a Roblox.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, that's nice. I like this.
No artifacts, or you can't really tell.
Right. Like I said, a lot of the elements are synthesized directly.
They're the chorus. Breakdown.
Maybe a little too slow. I love that your experiments have been at the absolute extreme of tempo. You're like, it's 60 or it's 160. It's nothing in between. This poor bass player is so bored.
I like the glockenspiel.
You like that? Yeah. Sounds good.
Or is it vibes?
That's a vibraphone, I think, yeah. There is a Glock in the engine.
There is? Okay. So let's just skip. We haven't actually heard the ending of any of them.
Let's see, it'll probably just ring out.
Oh, and that's why it loops.
Oh, it just repeated. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, well, do you want to close out, you know, and by the way, if anyone has questions, you can type into the chat. Otherwise, maybe if you want, I can just play us out with an example of this in a Roblox game. And by the way, I'll follow up and we'll make sure to open source this example I'm going to play for you. So people could just take it and, you know, take the code and use it in their own game.
Yeah, so if you want to check the stream, I did just switch back over to Zoom.
Right.
Everything should be going through. Okay, yep, your screen share.
Can you see there we are. Tell me if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, great. Well, let me play it out. So this is an example of like all of this. So we've got this player is going to run from one section of the game to another, and they're going to play the same variations of songs that we were doing when Melodia was changing the options. You're going to see that here, just all in about 30 seconds. So here we go. Chill. Now we're moving to like horror. And then it goes on the bridge. You'll hear the music change to a different section. Now here's like kind of a chiptune. As it goes here, you'll hear the drop. And it's just looping different sections depending on the geographic area the player's in. When he goes in this door, it goes to Chiptune. And then we're going to go to the major key when we go in here. There we go. And I'll make sure we share that link with you with all those all that code example.
Yes. It's a pretty impressive software engine you have there.
Well, thanks. And, look, the same, it goes right back to you. We're so impressed with all the developers that we've engaged with on Roblox, and it's been super fun to interact with everyone. We have such a nice group. We've got a Discord that we've shared. Again, if you go to the creator resources in here, I'll just put that up for a second. We've got a post to creator resources. You can just look for Audioscape. We've got an initial post. It's got there's this link. There's a link to sample code that you'll see there. There's a demo of the app. All that stuff is there, and a bunch of folks. We have so many people who've signed up for it. A bunch are on the Discord, and I've been so impressed with everyone's skills, the creative ideas that everyone has, and just really appreciate. I mean, sometimes the feedback is pretty harsh and frank, but it's great. We totally appreciate it. And we've already made some changes for what people have requested, and we've got a bunch more in the works. So, do keep it coming. And, I'm online pretty much every day, and I monitor the Discord. So people have questions, reach out. And then I know Melodia, we want to have some follow-ons for talk about music composition. We can talk more about using any music in Roblox. I've got some tricks for using the stock audio better that I can share. So we can do this again, and we can invite others and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, definitely. That's the plan.
Great. Well, hey, thanks so much, to you for hosting this, and for everyone to joining us on their Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you, Sean, for your time.
Great. It's been a pleasure. Thanks again, Melodia.
No problem. And so we are going to call an end to this event. I do not have any other events planned that I could advertise, but like always, just keep an eye on the Gradual. You could also join my Discord, which is gilded.gg/ABC Lodge. That is probably the best way to keep in contact with me. Give me some feedback, how you like these events. If you have any suggestions for events, I'm always open for them. But yeah, thank you everybody for attending today. Take care.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
And